So I was going to bed the other night, and when you're like in between that state of like wakefulness and sleep where you are sort of aware that you're like conscious, but you're starting to drift into something else, that like really strange, vulnerable, kind of yummy liminal space of consciousness. Well, I was there the other night, and sometimes my body will experience like sensations that are unique. And I felt this sort of tingle, this like tingly pressure into the back of my head. And as I felt that pressure, something inside of my consciousness changed. And it felt like I entered into like the bottom of the ocean, but it was sort of like the top of the ocean. And it felt as though every single mind and separate way of perception and of being of all people, all of that just disappeared. And there was this awareness that we are so bigger than that, and we're also like beings that are like, we're like water that has been poured into vessels, but we're all still like water. And it was like in that moment the vessel like went away, and I just felt this water. And it was a fun sort of cerebral experience, because for me, my ego deaths have usually been more orangey, more purpley. Some of them are like black. It's like I'm talking about like the spiritual sensation of color. Like the feeling of an orange ego death is a different feeling from like a black and white ego death. There's different kinds of like voids, or like I've seen God in like many different ways. Like when I've seen God in black and white, it's a feeling of like gnosis and reverence and truth that never dies, and the destruction and rebirth of consciousness itself and the heartbeat of existence. And when I've had ego deaths that are like orange, it's more of like feeling the life force and the heart beating of life itself, and like all of life, and how life is this cornucopia of everything. And so it's like, and I'm also very visual, so I'll like get like visions in my mind's eye when I'm having an ego death. But this ego death was dark blue, and I've never had a dark blue ego death before. It was so wild, because, and I'll have to like write poems about it and stuff. But it was this like feeling of like um I don't know how to explain it. It was as though everything that had once been was turned upside down and became a limbo, where it's like, oh yeah, I don't have to do that anymore, that whole mind thing. And it's just a funny little thing to know, that we all go back to where we came from, and we all go back to the beginning. And you can live your entire life right now. You can live from the place of, I know the beginning, of I know where we all return to. And so you can go about your day, you can go about your life understanding that we all come from the whole, and we all return to the whole. And so we don't have to be so caught up in things as we remember this.